And here we go. I mentioned earlier that we have the brilliant Drew Sample with us, and here he is. Drew, how you doing, man?
Doing good, hanging in there. Trying to make the best of everything going on right now, but doing good.
We spoke offline a little bit. You've welcomed a new addition to your family, haven't you? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my second daughter, Savannah, she's just over a month old. We had her at the beginning of December. And then my oldest daughter, she's 17 months now, about to be 18 months. So we got our hands full this off season. It's fun. Keeps my wife and I on our toes. So
I bet.
it's
I
been
bet.
good. Yeah, it's just nice to spend time with family though, for sure, especially right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is life like in the off season for you? It seems like a silly question to ask because things are so different to what they normally. What would you be doing in non-COVID times?
I mean, honestly, with my newborn daughter, we'd probably be doing this even if we didn't have COVID. But I mean, we'd probably, try to take a trip somewhere. My wife and I, either back to Washington and to see our families, or somewhere a little warmer, perhaps. But yeah, right now, I mean, we're at home in our house in Cincinnati, and just trying to spend as much time as I can with them, giving my wife a little bit of a break. During the season, I'm kind of, she does a great job. She was all hands on deck, and so it's kind of my turn to take over some of the dad duties. So that's always fun.
What's your least favorite dad duty of them all, would you say?
I mean, I feel like the easy one is diapers, but for me, I have trouble with the little snaps on the little outfits. Like my
Right.
youngest, she's like a month old. She's so tiny. Like all those little snaps on my big fingers, just it's hard to dress her sometimes. So I
Because
deal with that.
you're like 6'5", right? So she
Yeah,
must more or less fit in the palm of your hand at the moment.
yeah. She's small. It's funny though, because my oldest daughter Olivia, she was born. She was a month early. She was all, everything was good, but she was like really small.
Mm.
And then our newest daughter, she feels so much bigger than my first daughter was. So it's kind of funny. Like she's still really small, but just compared to our first one, it's funny to see the difference.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, congratulations on the new additions. It
Thank
must
you.
be fun being a new dad. Um, Now, if we rewind to last off season, I remember seeing, obviously, all Bengals fans were super excited because Joe Burrow had just been drafted, and we're excited to see our offensive weapons with a new quarterback. And then we saw a photograph of you, Sam Hubbard, and Joe Burrow in some sort of gym, all topless and oiled up and completely ripped. Um,
Sweat. That was sweat. Yeah.
okay, it wasn't like some sort. It wasn't like some sort of like 2020 like boys calendar kind of thing.
No, no, it wasn't anything of that sort. Don't worry. We were working hard.
Um, on a serious point though, that must have been terrific to bond with Joe that early. And I wanted to ask you about your initial impressions of Joe, and because he seemed to fit straight in, he seemed to take everything in his stride. We never really see the kind of guy he is off the field. What were your first impressions of him, and what were your kind of was it easy to get on with him? Did you kind of get that bond straight away?
Yeah, it was nice for me because I worked out with Sam Hubbard all off season last year, and him and Joe have known each other obviously, back to their Ohio State days, and so when he said, "Hey, he's going to come work out with us," I was like, "Great! Like that's awesome to be able to meet him, just spend some time around him and stuff." And I mean, Sam and I had been grinding pretty hard, throughout the whole off season and with COVID and stuff, and he came in day one and just jumped right in, fit right
Mm.
in. He worked his ass off. He's not like the loudest guy, whatever. I mean, he likes to go about his business. He likes to work. He likes to, and that's kind of, I feel like that's how I am. That's how Sam is. And so,
Mm.
it was a good fit for us for working out. And then obviously, with all the COVID stuff in the off season, no one really got to spend a lot of time with each other, through OTAs or things like that. So it was just nice to, spend some time with some guys, outside of the football, just because we didn't have that opportunity this year. And
Mm.
it was great just to meet him and see, how he operated. And he, like I said, he came in day one and just started working his ass off. And that's kind of what he, showed throughout the season. I mean, he put in so much work to be able to be ready, to start from day one. And, that was obviously expected of him. And I think he came in and even shattered,
Mm.
expectations. So it was really cool to see.
That your rookie first season, I think, to be fair, it must have been quite frustrating because you were just. I mean, I think it's fair to say you're really starting to get hold of what the NFL was all about and making steps and making progress, and then you got injured,
Mm.
unfortunately. You must have been well, even though the team didn't do fantastic last year, you must have been thrilled that you kept more or less injury free and you progressed yourself on a personal level last year.
Yeah, for sure. I think you said it like in the first half of my rookie year, I was, it was tough in the beginning, just getting used to things. Obviously not playing a ton of snaps, just kind of going situationally. It's hard to kind of, get in a rhythm, things like that. And so I felt like that like sixth, seventh, eighth game, I was starting to, feel more comfortable. And then like you said, I had the ankle injury that kept me out. And so I felt like for me, I needed to have a really good off season. I felt like I did that, and then being able to come in, obviously, was expecting to play more. And I think CJ and I, had he not got hurt, would have played a ton together, and we would have been able to do a lot of good things. And then he, got injured, and so I ended up playing pretty much almost all the snaps. And so for me, it was great to be able to, I feel really comfortable in our offense. I feel really comfortable, you know, I know that I can obviously play, and just getting that confidence, that goes along with experience. And I think that was something I was able to do. I mean, we obviously didn't win a ton of games, but we played a lot of good teams. We played a lot of good players, and as the season went along, I definitely was able to felt myself growing as a player. And I think that's as long as I continue to do that, I'll be in a good spot.
Drew, looking forward to next season. Obviously, talking about that, do you set yourself any personal targets? Do you have anything like yardage or touchdowns or anything like that you're looking to build on, or even looking at your blocking? Is there any like technique things you're going to work on, or like, do you have any targets going forward? Would you say?
Yeah, there's definitely things as far as like technique and parts of my game that I want to work on. As far as stats and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to, for me, I don't like to set, benchmarks to that just because a lot of it's out of my control. But for me, I want to just continue to grow as a player. There's definitely some technique things, some footwork things in the run game. And, even, with my routes, just getting faster, being more explosive, being able to get in and out of my breaks, things like that. Especially coming into this offseason healthy, like I feel, almost the same as I did at the end of last offseason and the start of this offseason. So for me, I'm already super excited just going into an offseason healthy, the type of, things I can continue to grow and work on. And that's why I'm really excited for this offseason because I'm coming in healthy. So
We spoke to CJ Uzama. We had him, your colleague, on this podcast, and we asked him about you, and he said your biggest strength was your knowledge and understanding the plays and reading the systems. Is that something you've been working on in your game, or is it something that just comes very naturally to you?
For me in college, I felt like, my college coach and kind of the offense we ran, in college just asked us to do a lot of different things. And so I think for me, from day one of being a college tight end, just having to know, fronts, coverages, things like that. I think, obviously things are ramped up in the NFL, but I felt like I had a pretty good, baseline coming in. And then, with Coach Casey in our room, we have such a high standard. It's really fun to be in there because he as a coach pushes us, we push each other as players. And, I feel like everyone's been able to grow a lot in our room. And so I think that's, I felt like I felt good obviously coming in, but, I always want to learn more and continue to, take those next steps.
Talking about next steps, how do we fix the Bengals for next season? We've made a bit of progress with Joe Burrow last season. How do we turn this team into a 10-plus win team that's going to compete in the playoffs down the stretch? Do you think we're close? Do you think we need another couple of players? Is it the offensive line? In your opinion, how do we take that next step forward as a team?
I think one of the biggest things is just consistency. I think we have a lot of good players on both sides of the ball. We got, some big time guys that were injured. We've had injuries, things like that. But for us, I think it's just consistency. As an offense, we had some great games. As an offense, we had some bad games. We had some meh games, and for us, it's just, I think we just need to consistently game in and game out, continue to grow and build. And, I think everyone being able to play with each other more will help with that. And there was games that we just couldn't quite finish. We would have a bad game, the defense would have a good game. We would have a good game, the defense. And so I think as a team, just consistency and continuing to I guess finish games would be a huge thing for us. And and that's what's tough is because we felt like we had some really good flashes last year. We just really weren't able to put it all together. And so, I don't think it's like players or anything like that. I feel really good about the talent we have on our team. I think just, putting it all together and being consistent with a lot of things we've been able to do, I think that'll help us. And I mean, we could jump, to a good amount of wins next year. And like you said, make a playoff run. That's the goal. And I think we definitely have the talent to do that.
I guess the last thing from me, obviously Zach Taylor's come under some criticism. There's a few people out there, some for him, some against. Whenever we spoke to the players, they've always been, undoubtedly behind him, giving him a lot of support. What's your view on Zach Taylor? Is he a good coach to work for? Like, how does he work you guys? And what's the chemistry like at the moment between him and within the locker room?
I mean, for me, he's and from what I know, the guys, we love him. I mean, he's a player's coach. He's, and a lot of people say like, oh, there's a lot of stuff out there about, our locker room and things like that. And I think we have a really great locker room. I think we have a lot of veteran guys. We have a lot of young guys. We got a good mix of players, and he's just trying to bring everyone together. And we've obviously had a rough 2 years, but his door is always open. He's always open with guys. And he's not, and for him, like he'll take blame. He takes criticism. Hey guys, I have to be better doing this. I have to, it's not like, hey, you guys gotta play better. We're all in this together. And that's one of the things that, I like about him is he's, hey, a couple calls that game, those are on me. We have to clean up some things, doing this, X, Y, Z, whatever, but also I need to be better. And so as a player, you look at that and you're like, he's always trying to get better. He's always trying to improve. And that's what we're trying to do. So, I think it works together all very well. And, he's a guy that you want to play for. You want to win playoff games. You want to win for him because of how good he's been to all of us. And so for me and a lot of the guys I know, we support him obviously. And then it was just harder this year. There was a lot of, media is kind of was on the outside more than ever this year. And so there was a lot of different things and we didn't play well a lot of games, a lot of times. And so a lot of that does fall on him. And so, I think we support him and we're excited, the direction where the team's going.
I bet you can't wait to start next season, can you? Because, I think we've all played sports to a certain level. You obviously much higher than me and Nathan. Although you should see my 5 and outs, mate. I tell you, they are pristine. My little root
Explosive.
tree is amazing. However, when you lose and you've had a poorish season, and especially when you know that you're a better team than you are, you must be itching to get back out and just kind of like, right, I want another crack at this straight away. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I mean, especially, as a team, down the stretch, we had some good games. We had a couple wins there. We can feel, we kind of feel what it looks like when we kind of put together. And then on top of that, missing a lot of, key players and, leaders on the team. And so, obviously the last game didn't go as planned, but just there was definitely some things that we took from the season that, okay, we know what it feels like. We lost, a bunch of close games. We were able to finish out a few games at the end. And so it felt like guys kind of started to understand, okay, what it's going to take that next step. And then you almost just run out of time. You play 16, 17 games and you're like, okay, now it's just, you got to kind of reset a little bit. You got to you got to learn from the bad stuff. You got to, look at the good stuff and you got to take it all as one and going in the off season. And so, for me, I'm excited to get back to work. This last week, my first week back working out, just kind of easing into things, but being healthy and stuff, it feels great to do football stuff again, to catch balls, to, work out, things like that. And so, and we don't even know what's going to go on with the off season. So then it's like, okay, we might not be back until the season. And so I know guys are, itching to get back. So I'm excited to, to see what the off season holds and where we can go next year.
Just some very quick fire questions for you, Drew. When was the last time you spoke to Joe and how is he? He seems to be like in good spirits and his knee seems to be, coming along really, really well.
Yeah, he actually works out. He has his trainer. He rehabs at the stadium, and then he works out at Black Sheep where we work out with his guy. And so I see him most days. He's coming along. He's starting to get into some work and things like that, and he's doing good. Like I said, like everyone said, I mean, he's attacking it. he wants to be back for the season. He wants to be back for ready to go day one. And so, he's doing his thing to do that. And so it's always cool to see, because it's hard, like those, long-term injuries. It can take its toll on guys. CJ, had one too. Obviously we had a couple guys that had, long recoveries, and it's hard, but it seems like all the guys that we have are really going into it, and we're excited to have them back next year.
Please get down to Black Sheep, Paul.
I know. Well, next time
Work
we go
out
to
with Drew and
Cincinnati,
Joe.
we're going down to Black Sheep. That's where all the cool guys hang out with their tops
Yeah,
off.
it's a little nicer this year. My trainer Pat, where the pitcher was taken last year, it was kind of in his old place, and he kind of split it with a few other people. But now he's in his own spot. He upgraded a little bit, so
cool.
It's great. Yeah.
You've got the VIP area, have you, that you work out in? Is that it?
I wouldn't say that. It's definitely it's a little upgrade, but we started from kind of not great, so at least I feel better about that now.
Okay. Well, question 2. Will you be posting more top? I'm not obsessed by this, honestly, but
it's like, is this the third time?
It might be. Actually, no. Skip that question because it sounds weird.
Maybe not now. Not
now. Okay,
Too
right. You're feeling
self-conscious
now. Okay.
Maybe.
Drew, you'll have to send him a signed photo, mate. I think that's what he's going for here.
Okay. Hey, we could potentially make that happen.
Okay. All
we'll
right.
see. I gotta look a little better maybe, and then down the road in a couple of months,
you got 2 months to get properly ripped.
Yeah, there we go.
Then that's it. Question 2. We'll skip over that. That didn't count. The team's getting some new uniforms. I'm not expecting you to tell us what they are. Or am I?
I don't know what they are.
You don't? You've not seen them? Oh,
I have no idea. I'm just in the dark as you guys.
Okay.
You might have to ask someone a little higher up, maybe the pay scale. Maybe they know, but I'm just waiting like you guys are. I'm excited. I mean, apparently we haven't had New Jerseys in a long time, and so I mean, that's always fun. I love New Jersey, so
yeah,
I'm waiting just like you guys.
Anything that upgrades like one of the most kind of distinctive and iconic uniforms in the NFL, that's got to be a good thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him just like you guys.
Yeah. Final question. Juggling. Tell us about juggling, because I heard that you have begun juggling in the off season.
Did my dad tell you this?
No, he didn't. He didn't tell me that. I tell you who it was. I listened to another podcast, the Dan Horde Bengals Booth podcast that you probably
okay, yeah.
Brandon Allen was on, so blame him. And he mentioned.
Oh yes, he did. He claimed he could teach me how to juggle in like 3 minutes, and I said, "Listen, I watched a YouTube video on it. I'm starting it. We're working on it."
So how's that going?
I thought it would be going a little better. The honest truth is I had a lot of, there's a lot of kids running around. I got, my dog. I have tennis balls. That's probably the main issue. So I got my dog, and my 2 daughters are very enthralled by it. So I gotta set aside a little, like when they go to sleep or something, where I can work on it. But we're we have 3 balls. We're just, it's not
just about keeping them up in the air at the same time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because AJ Green does all that kind of stuff, doesn't he? He does that. Yeah, he's like.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah.
I literally told my family, so I was like, hey, like my wife, she was making fun of me. Oh, Drew's gonna learn how to juggle, and then my brother's like, everyone's like, I know how to juggle. I was like, since when? I lived with you guys for all my life. No one knows how to juggle. I'm 99% sure. And then my brother sent me a video of him juggling like 4 oranges, like super easy, and I was like, okay, that's fair. I'll give that to you. Maybe you can give me some pointers when I, figure it out. But yeah, so it's a work in progress.
Basically, you were being trolled by your family even before you started juggling. That doesn't seem very fair.
I had literally, the night I started, my wife like sent him a video. I was just doing like 2 balls just to do it. So that's like step 1 is and then so like I said, I'm just gonna prove them wrong. Give me a couple months and I'll be good. Okay, you'll have to check back in with me so I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's the challenge. Forget the workouts and all the rest of it. Let's check in with you in like 6 months' time, and I'm expecting you to do like be doing kids parties and magic tricks and all sorts of things.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I have a few costumes for my daughter. I got a Santa. I got an Easter bunny. So if I can juggle in those, like I'm golden. You can book
You're
me
going to
wherever.
be like the best dad in the world, aren't you, with that stuff?
I'm trying. We'll see. We'll see how it's going.
Drew, we're going to finish up now. Thank you so much for the time, and once again, thank you for doing this. It really means a lot to the fans over here and all our followers. You do know that we voted you the Bengals Bengals UK, I should say, most improved player of the year. I'm not sure what do we give people who win our awards, Nathan? We haven't quite figured that out yet, have we?
We're not quite on the budget yet to send a trophy, but maybe
That's
in the
all right.
future.
I appreciate the thought. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I know you guys watch everything, so that's pretty cool. I appreciate that.
Good. Well, we wish you and your family the best. Please do stay safe over there, and listen, we can't wait to see how you get on next season, because if you make more strides, literally and figuratively, then it's going to be a great season for you. So, all the best for next season, Drew, and thank you so much for the time.
Cheers,
Awesome.
Drew.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, you guys stay safe over there.